how do I pronounce your name?
Wouter, but Walter is fine. Can you hear me?
I can't hear very well, but I can hear you. So is it? Can you pronounce that again slowly?
Wouter.
Wouter.
That's it. You got it.
What nationality is that?
I'm from the Netherlands, so it's a Dutch
Right.
nationality.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I'm born and raised in Rotterdam. Lived a little while in the States. Lived some time in Spain and some time in Italy. Then I came to Australia in 2010 and lived a little while in Sydney before in 2012 I came to WA and never looked back. So
So
that's my
how
story.
long ago did you move to WA?
2012 is when I arrived. Yeah.
Right. Very good.
Mm.
And which part of? So you're living in Perth?
I do, yes. I do
Whereabouts
live
in
in
Perth?
Perth. I live in the center of Perth. I live in the city.
Right.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah,
Yes.
it's a
Yes.
lovely place. I've been there a couple of times, and particularly like Fremantle. It's
Yes,
quite
it's a
nice
really
down
nice
there.
place.
And I've been out to Rottnest Island.
Very nice.
I've
As a
ridden my bike up to the
tourist.
lighthouse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now there are many places in WA. It's such a big
Yeah.
state. You look at it. There's so much to
Mm.
see. I think that most of the locals that haven't seen everything yet. It's just so big.
Sorry, what was that? I couldn't hear that.
So most of the locals probably haven't seen everything yet. Uh,
Right.
Being born
And
and raised in WA is just so big. It's almost impossible to do it all. So unless you really put your mind to it, I guess you can, but it's very spread. So, but it's beautiful, beautiful beaches, beautiful food, beautiful people. And it's just yeah. There's a reason why I stayed. I enjoy living in WA. Yes.
terrific. Yeah, well, I was over there last year. My daughter was playing in a water polo competition. And
Yes.
so, yes, you got a beautiful city. And we went to Cottesloe Beach a couple of times with the rest of the team. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, it's yeah, it's nice, and I remember the first time I came to Perth was in 2011, and it was in March, April. It was just absolutely amazing weather, and I was like, oh, this is just paradise, really.
Very
Um,
good.
it's a very nice place to be in. Of course, we have our challenges, just like you have anywhere else in the world.
Hmm.
Um, but overall, it's a very good place to be. So yeah, that's myself. What about you?
I'm born and bred in Sydney, but I have travelled around the country and internationally. I love travelling around Australia. I did a road trip with some old schoolmates last year. We
Yeah,
went out to Broken Hill, and then up to Cameron Corner, which is where South Australia, Queensland, and New South Wales meet. That was a
yeah,
lot of fun. And I've done a bit of sailing. I've done some sailing up the Queensland coast, uh, but been to Darwin and what have you, and down south. Yeah, so we've got a lot to offer. But I did go to Europe last year as well, and yeah, certainly enjoyed travelling and seeing new places.
yes, yeah. No, it's beautiful. The things we can learn so much from each other. And that's what I enjoy with living and working in different places in the world. You pick up what they do right, and you try to then bring that with you to the next experience that you do, and share that because I don't think there's any one place in the world that is flawless. So we can all learn from each other and implement what one culture does best and use that in your day-to-day life and be the best person you can be, right? Type of
Very
thing.
good.
Mm.
Mm.
So, Anyway, well,
Excellent.
thank you for joining us. I enjoy having these interviews with the leaderships of institutes that advocate for the real estate industry. I've done a few now, and every time it's just nice to hear their story, how they first joined, how they first were appointed, what their plans are, and things like that. So that's really what I would like to try and get out of this interview as well, to see what how you got in and what your impressions were and what your expectations are and what we can expect from you, the wider industry as well. So let's get right into it.
And are you hearing me okay?
I hear you
Am I
fine.
coming
Yes.
through okay?
Yes, yes, you are. I can hear you perfectly.
Okay.
So you were appointed as the president of the Real Estate Institute of New South Wales back in December. So how did the industry as a whole, how did they react? How did they welcome you into that position?
So it was actually November last year, and I was elected into the position a year earlier. So I did have a year to plan, and I was the president-elect for 12 months. And that's the way it usually works with our institute. It gives everybody a bit of time to plan and to arrange their own businesses, because it is a commitment. There's quite a bit of time involved, and you need to be able to do the job properly. You do need to dedicate the time to it, and obviously want to do the job properly. So, fortunately, I've had some time to plan and get things in order, so I can do it properly.
Okay, so me personally, I only became aware of it late in 2023 when it became official. Is that the same in New South Wales, even though you
it depends on how closely you follow it. So that all happens at it's announced at the AGM. Each, it's a 2-year term. So each 2 years at the AGM, the new president is announced. And look, most real estate people are very busy. A lot of people don't really pay attention to that sort of thing. And it's also, I think, respectful for the existing president to keep it low key, so they have clear air and are able to do their job in their way as the president without any distraction. So I think, as a courtesy to an existing president, it's good practice to just the purpose of that is really just to let people know what's happening in 12 months. And so the new president can also start making arrangements themselves so they are ready to take on the role in that 12 months' time.
Yeah, okay, no, fair enough. So it's all very smooth, basically. It's a smooth transition from one to the other.
Yeah, a smooth, respectful transition whereby the handover can be done properly and everyone's got time to plan. It's it's good succession planning.
Yeah, no, perfect. No, I like that. What I've seen with other institutes is that it didn't seem that smooth. It seems more like a bit of an ad hoc reaction. But I think that time is very valuable, as we all know. So if you're given time to prepare for a handover and to prepare for a new role, that's of course gold. So I like that. It's good.
Yeah, I mean, I've been on the REINSW board for 10 years. We do have an executive as well, whereby we've got deputy presidents, and that, generally there's a transition and, as I say, a succession plan, just to make sure whoever does step into the role is familiar with what's going on and they've got the support around them.
Perfect. No, excellent. So now that you've officially taken on the role and been in the role for several months now, what are your plans for the institute moving forward for the next, year and a half, 2 years?
Oh, I'm not sure where to start. There's
Okay.
plenty of them, and there's plenty to do. And I'm just really grateful. We've got a fantastic team at the REINSW. They really are amazing. And it's not until you actually step into this role that you realise how important they are and how much they do.
Right.
So in essence, my role is to add as much value to our members and their clients and the consumers as we can.
Okay.
And that's done through a whole range of ways. We're very strong advocates of increasing the level of professionalism. And we do that by providing good quality training. It might be a bit more expensive and it might take a bit longer, but that's the way we want it. We get very frustrated because the barriers to entry in our industry are frustratingly low.
Right.
And we want to improve the level of professionalism. We find it really disappointing when we see these surveys come out where our profession does not perform well.
Yeah.
And we are doing our best to try to address that. But at the end of the day, a lot of people do take the shortcut into our industry, and that's frustrating. So that's a constant goal. We also have a helpline to help the industry and our members. We've got forms and agreements and training. So we've got a lot there. We're also, we do have a good engagement with government. So policy, lobbying, working with each other. For example, we're currently working on an educational video for with the Office of Fair Trading and TAFE. So we're talking about a range of real estate issues that are definitely a priority for the Office of Fair Trading and ourselves. And we're using this as a training platform to send the message out to real estate students. And there are policies coming through that require feedback from all stakeholders in our industry. Sometimes those policies are well-intentioned, but they do run the risk of having unintended consequences. So we need to try to work through those with government before they become legislation. So sometimes we need to work with each other to discuss those issues and to try to come up with potential alternative solutions to help achieve what they're looking to achieve, but without the unintended consequences. So they are workable within our industry and with consumers. And so there's quite a lot involved in that.
Yes, I can see that. The thing with real estate, it is a very complex and very broad industry. And we all fill in little pieces of the puzzle, per local market, per sub-industry, maybe property management, maybe sales strata management, maybe, building and development, whatever it is. We all fill in these little pieces, construction, repair and maintenance, we all work in this billion-dollar industry, and as an institute being in the middle there, I can understand that it's full on and it's lots to consider and lots to manage and represent. So I get that. Yes.
You're 100% right. It's like a whole ecosystem.
Yes, on its own, doesn't it? Yes.
And we all have to live and work together. If there is a change somewhere, it may have a knock-on effect somewhere else.
Yeah, correct. Yes, and I thank you for assisting and representing our industry, because I do think that what the institutes do, they create value for everybody. Maybe the professionals that are working in it, or maybe the consumers that own investment properties, or property owners that live in properties themselves. I do think that we all benefit from the information that you guys provide, and the assistance that you provide. So thank you for that. So on a different angle, how is the market in New South Wales? The feedback that we get here in WA from real estate agents, that a lot of, I should say, the buyer's agents, so they get a lot of inquiries from over east. So that means that investors over east are interested in purchasing property here in the west. How is the market in New South Wales?
Well, as you said earlier, and I totally agree with you, there are a lot of different sub-markets, and in certain locations, in certain streets, near certain infrastructure. We've also got the residential market, industrial, commercial, retail. In fact, it's been interesting stepping in as the president, because I've been attending the different chapter meetings. And, we've got holiday letting people and property managers and auctioneers and buyers agents, as you say. There are many, many professionals that work in different segments of our industry. So it is a very interesting market. I think, generally speaking, our market has been quite resilient, particularly with residential and industrial. So industrial has performed very strongly in the last few years for a range of reasons. The residential market generally has remained quite strong, and indeed in some locations, some desirable inner city locations, they're still achieving some amazing results. There are other areas that are not performing so well. There is, in some areas, some evidence that interest rates are starting to have a bit of an impact. And that may be for a range of reasons. It's making property less affordable. Some people took on obligations without realising interest rates would go up so quickly, so fast. And and some people are struggling to get loans. It's not as easy to obtain a loan as it was some years ago. So those sorts of things do have an impact right across the board, not only with residential, but businesses obviously also need loans, and so their costs have gone up. Industrial rents have gone up 20-30% in the last 2 years. So industrial rents have performed exceptionally well. But once again, then tenants have got to absorb those rents or pass them on to their consumer. The cost of land has gone up. So industrial land, for example, has gone up substantially, which is having an impact on land tax and that sort of thing. So that is having an impact on the market. COVID is still having an impact on the market, particularly in terms of the office market. So in many locations, the demand has not returned to where it was prior to COVID. People are still wanting to work from home, and that's more prevalent in different industries. like IT, for example. We're hearing a lot of IT people, and indeed, some people have even sold their home in Sydney and moved out of Sydney, and they don't want to move back, some of them. So particularly those that do have and work in industries like IT, whereby they don't really have to move back. They can work from home. Yeah. But we're certainly aware of many employers that want to see their staff back. And, I can understand that as well.
Yeah, fair enough. We here in the West, we're actually quite lucky from the office point of view. We've seen a bounce back much greater than in other parts of the country. And of course, one of the things that contribute to that is that the commute is not as heavy in Perth. We have our busy hours, but besides that, traffic still flows okay. We tend to see it differently, but when we go to Sydney, we're like, okay, it's not that bad.
Yeah, I wish I could say the same for Sydney.
Yeah, no. I remember once we took an overnight flight and we were flying into Sydney at 5 a.m. in the morning. And my wife and I, we looked out on the road and we were like, is that a traffic jam? At 5 o'clock, there is no such thing as a traffic jam in WA. No.
We can actually see a difference. Often Monday and Friday, the traffic is better. Right. Because they're the days that, like, most people or a lot of people work from home still on a Monday and a Friday. And sometimes that is quite noticeable.
Yeah, fair enough. No, good. Okay, so what are the biggest challenges in New South Wales, and what is, I think you sort of touched base on that already before, where you want to put the level of professionalism up. But from besides the professions that work in the industry, there are other challenges that you see in New South Wales that you want to focus on.
Well, I think we probably share a challenge in terms of the housing crisis is a big one, and a lot of the issues around the housing crisis flows across to, for example, industrial, in that over the years, the rezoning of land and what have you has probably not kept up with the demand. So there's a lot more e-commerce happening today, and the land supply has not really kept up. So whereas the way people buy product these days is often directly from the warehouse. And during COVID, where a lot of the supply chains were impacted, a lot of businesses needed to stock more supply. So that really created more demand for warehouses. And because a lot of products are sent direct to the consumer, a lot of logistics are around the big box warehouse out in our western suburbs, and then last mile delivery centres closer in. So they might be transporting a lot of those goods to the smaller warehouse that are closer to the city, and then they go out in the little van. So there is that side of things, and yes, the rents have gone up quite a bit, but it's still cheaper for them to distribute goods that way rather than having them sit in retail centres where the rents are higher, and also the stock is moving more often. So that is on the industrial side, but that's important because as consumers are buying product, lots of those costs go into the price of a good or a service, and that has had an impact on inflation. The housing crisis, similar with, the level of immigration has increased substantially. So I think it's 500,000 odd people this year probably 1.5 million over the next few years. They've all got to live somewhere, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The supply's not keeping up, and you don't have to be. It's quite obvious that there is going to be an issue around here, and different solutions need to be explored and quickly to address this issue. And I don't think there's one solution. I think there's a whole range of solutions. So that's something that we're certainly focused on and having conversations about, because I think there are many stakeholders involved in this whole issue, and we need to try to sort it out as quickly as we can. There's quite a bit of inefficiency, and we need to try to streamline that where we can and show some thought leadership on these solutions. So,
perfect. That's good. So on that thing, owning property or using property for rent can be tough. Working in the industry can be tough. Do you have any final words for the industry out there?
Look, I think we're all working in such a dynamic industry. I love real estate. It amazes me how, particularly going and meeting with the different people in our chapters, how enthusiastic and dedicated they are, and how passionate they are about what they do and their segment of the market. I think we work in one of the best industries available, and we've all got an ability to add value to our clients and the customer. It's one of the most important decisions that people or businesses make, and I think we're very lucky to be working in this industry. Yeah,
no, perfect. All right. Well, thank you for your time, Barry. I'll write an article about the interview that we had today. I'll share this interview on my YouTube channel, and we'll spread the word of what you do and what people can expect from the institute, and we'll go from there. But thank you for your time.
Thank you. And if you're ever in Sydney, let me know. We'll go out and grab a coffee.
Sounds like a plan. Thank you, Barry.
All right. All the best. Bye for now.
Cheers.